Hi everyone. As it's World Cancer Awareness Day or World Cancer Day, World Cancer Awareness, World Cancer Day, whatever, it's one of those. I thought I would do a post on my experience of cancer. Before my husband's diagnosis, I had no experience of cancer at all, and really it seemed an alien concept to me. You know, people have it in their families, and I've been lucky enough for that never to have been the case. Then, coming up to 2 years ago, my husband had headache. He'd suffered from depression beforehand, and we had seen some mood changes, but he was suffering from really, really excruciating headaches. Now we put this down to anxiety, depression, migraines. He was 28. We went to the doctors. You know, the doctor, obviously they send you in and then they check, and it looks like a migraine. There's no reason for it to be what it was. Thankfully, we have an amazing GP surgery in Coventry, and they, after putting him on a waiting list for a headache clinic, just felt there wasn't something quite right. And they're very, they're just good surgery. They really go out of their way. And they said to me, look, the next time he gets bad, you call us. We'll do a GP liaison, and we'll get to the hospital. And so he was really particularly bad this morning, and he almost described it, it can be described almost like an ice pick headache. That's the only thing, when we looked online, we could find anything related. It was excruciatingly painful, and to the point where he started to vomit. And I'd already called the surgeon and said, look, I'm going to bring him in, and by his time he's starting to vomit. So I called again, said, I didn't call again. Then he was being sick on the toilet, and I thought, he's going to kill me if I ring an ambulance. But I thought, we have to ring an ambulance. So I called the ambulance, explained the situation. The paramedic came out, who was great. And I said, look, we've got this GP liaison thing. He needs to be seen quicker than, going into the queue when he gets there. And the guy was like, I don't think that's going to happen. So he put me on the phone to this woman who was actually particularly rude to me. And I put my foot down and said he is, in maybe not as kind words as those, he is going to be seen. And we got him to hospital. And I think every stage that they checked for other things, and there wasn't coming back with any obvious signs of it being that, I just had a feeling they weren't finding the answers that they wanted. Not in any of my thoughts did I think what it was. I just thought they were going to come back and say it's severe anxiety. We can't find anything. That it was going to be a mental thing. That was kind of a worry, because I thought, well, that's going to take longer. And I remember thinking beforehand, before this day, that I felt really, I didn't know how to help him, because he was clearly not well, but we just put it down to mental health. It was showing his mental health. And every doctor that we saw in the hospital, I just said, look, you need to check his head. You need to check it. We need a scan. And I kept reiterating that. And then I remember we got, they did all, it was quite late at night. And we were sat in a room, and his mum came. And the doctors came in. 2 doctors. Mum was a junior doctor. And they stood up, they came into the cubicle, and they said, I'm really sorry, it's not good news. It was said very, very quickly. It's not good news. He has a massive brain tumour. It's about 7 centimetres long. We will look to do surgery if we can. We will be doing chemo, radio. If there's nothing else that we can do, we'll just keep him comfortable. And even just thinking about the feeling that I felt, I can't describe the feeling. It was like being sucked down a hole. Like it was like, it's the worst words that you can hear, other than you've got no chance whatsoever. It's not the worst, but it was a nightmare. And I looked at him, I looked at his mom. I actually looked at her first, I think, because I was suddenly aware that I would have to be strong for somebody else. And he said, okay, what's next? And he said, right, well, we look to see if we can do surgery. And to my husband, who was shocked but okay. And we were just in shock. And then we had to go home because it was late and we couldn't stay. And we got back to my house and his brother was there looking after our kids. And I just remember going into the house and it just feeling bizarre, like, what? And his brother saying, and his mum just saying, look, it's not good news. It's really bad. It's not good news. I remember phoning my sister. I was trying to phone my sister and mum, and it was... and obviously I had to stay here. And that first night, my husband's brother stayed downstairs and I stayed upstairs. And the real feeling, I've spoken about this before, but it was a feeling of looking at my house, looking at stuff around the house, and it just feeling alien and weird and pointless. And I was terrified. And I was seeing things like those things that you put on a headache, you know, those strips, those cooling strips, like lying around and thinking, I wasn't going to do anything. And obviously everything then became very rushed. And I won't talk about the whole process then, but he's had brain surgery, he's had radio, he's had chemo. The tips I could say for people who are going through it, for their friends and family, shall we say. Let's say I'm talking to you guys, friends and family, because it can feel really scary when you've got somebody going through that and you don't know how to help. One, stands to reason, be kind, be helpful in any way that you can. We found it useful with having such young children. A baby, Texas was a baby, she was just 1, and Brooke was still so young as well. And as much as I adore them, looking after children in that time, all I wanted to do was focus on my husband. We had a schedule organised still by my husband from his hospital bed, by the way. I mean, like a schedule, whiteboard, friends and family who wanted to help, who took charge of our children. And then children know them, so it was no worry for me because I knew everybody had them when, who had them when, that they were safe, that they were loved, that they were away from any worries, any negativity. And then down the line, the nursery that Texas attends now, who are also family friends, took the children on without thought. They just said, Steph, who runs the nursery, just amazing, and the staff are amazing, and I'll never forget that. They took such a pressure off me by looking after the children and me knowing the children were safe and having fun and playing games no matter what we were doing. So that is a really important thing. If you can schedule, you've got people on the outskirts of that want to help. If you're the mum, the dad, or somebody that's got cancer, or you're the friend, or whoever's the main person, like partner, organise the children being taken care of. As a mum, just have that worry taken away. Make them food, because I did not want to eat, and make them eat. Even if you have to build up shakes or things like that, get them some food down there, because especially as somebody who's the carer, they can't get sick. I couldn't get sick, and I was really losing a lot of weight because I struggle to eat when I'm stressed. So find that way. Recognise that certainly if it's brain cancer, that once surgery and things have happened to other partners, they might be really, really difficult to deal with. They might be angry. Steroids make people much more, their temper's high. They might seem weird. They might do weird things. It's a really frightening time where you worry that you won't get the person back that you had before. And just try and help them in any way that you can. Do the washing. They'll say no. The person who's going through cancer, or the partners, they'll probably say no, don't help me, but just ignore them. A friend of mine whose partner has brain tumour as well, her dad said recently, and I thought it was a good point, she's got to learn that when people say, can I help with the washing, that she's got to go, no thank you. And then everyone can go, yeah, probably help with the washing. Just do the stuff that they don't want to think about. you can do that. That's just do the practical stuff. That can really help. One thing I would say, if you know anybody that's gone through this, don't tell them about your people that have died. I know it's easy to want to do that. Don't tell them it. Don't tell them any negative stories about it, because they don't want to hear it and they can't hear it right now. Only tell them positive stuff. Only give them solutions and only give them hope. Because without that, it's very difficult to keep going. Without that hope, without that chance that the person that they love and for the person themselves, that they have a chance of surviving it, I don't know how you can function. We live very positively, and we thankfully have amazing people around us, amazing family and friends, and that has seen us through it. So just be that support. And then sadly, last year, my sister's partner was diagnosed with leukemia, and we were just floored by it. That in this small family, that it could happen again in the same situation, and that me and my sister were going through it together. And I was terrified for her. And the good news in his story is that all is good. He's on the mend. All signs are good. The hospital are really, really pleased, and just we're very, very lucky in that respect. But it was a weird situation that I was advising my sister on, chemotherapy and different drugs, and just bizarre. How does that happen? What are the chances of that? But it was a very worrying time for me as well, to be so familiar with the feelings that she would be having, and how frightening it is, and how alienating, and just a weird time. So this sounds, I guess, negative, but I wanted to talk about just the realities of what families face. Thankfully we didn't have money worries, because we made hay while the sun shone, and just the support of people around us was just invaluable. Like, I can't tell you. You wouldn't get through it without that support. It's too hard. So I really, I just want to share it with you, because I think it's important that we talk. God, so many people are going through it. So many people are going through cancer now. We've got to talk about it, and we've got to find some solutions, and we've got to put money into it. It's got to be a priority. It's, there's a reason why it's on the increase. It must be diet, it must be how we live our lifestyles, but we're affecting something somewhere along the line. So governments need to make it a priority, because we're watching, it seems to me, and I know it's laws of attraction, but it seems to me that I don't go a day without somebody's got cancer, somebody's died of cancer. And it's not a one cure fits all cancers kind of thing. It's cells that are mutating. So there's going to be lots of talks on it. Anyway, I'm not going to go through the how to cure cancer, because I ain't got a clue. But I hope this helps somebody, and just know that day to day we live a really, really positive life, genuinely. So you can too, regardless of how scary it is. Just face it head on. And love each other. If you're the partner of somebody going through it, or the sister or the friend, just love each other and tell each other, because life is short, man, and it's a real eye opener. So I will stop now, because I've been talking for far too long, and it's really weird that this is here, this mirror. I'm sorry, it's slightly distracting to me. Peace out, and give as much money as you can to work to cancer charity, brain tumour charity. Go and do it. Go and do some good today. Give blood, if you can give blood, for a lot of people who need blood. Leukemia patients obviously need lots of blood, so go and do it, and thank the nurses and doctors around you, because they are heroes. If you know a nurse or a doctor, just go and high five and go buy them a cup of tea, and just tell them you're a hero, you're a lifesaver. Peace out.